going to be your guide for this hour. We will start our journey talking about the history of Maserati. Then we will go through a few of the cars that you see in exhibition over here. And then we will talk about the Fuoriserie project, that it's the second set of customization that we offer to our owners in a few moments. So if you want to go back over here, of course, if you do have any questions, please just stop me anytime. Our history is a very long and complicated history, so we will go through the main steps during this moment. I will take you through the different changing ownership that we had since the very beginning until these days. Of course, this represents most of our cars. Not all of them would be possible to put them on scale model. And what we usually start with is the very beginning. As you can see, the very first car that we designed, the darker red car, was launched and was born in 1926. Actually, our history starts a little bit before that. Why do we not have any sign of what happens before 1926 on the model? Because actually in 1914, 7 brothers named Maserati opened a workshop in Bologna, not in Modena yet. We will move in Modena in a few moments. And we have no sign of that because actually in the very beginning we were not producing any car. In the very beginning, they put the workshop, we were working on cars used by others, and we were fine-tuning them and putting together ready to race the track. So rather than others going there just to, once again, get the cars ready to race. And that's a short period between once again 1914 and 1926. 1926, the very first car was born. The car was actually designed by the brothers. The car was assembled by them. The car was also driven by one. And here it can be considered a little the year that was company and writing about it. What most for sure in the work most prominent figure in the family, really great building cars. But before and foremost, he was a driver. He was a racer. That's why the very first car was actually driven by him. And for example, in Florio in Sicily or other races back in the US. Then, over here, as you can see, we moved to a spot in which we have radiates, symbolizing a very famous race held in the US, 500 miles of Indianapolis. Those 2 years that we will discover in a moment, 1939 and 1940, are key for 2 reasons at the same time. First one, those are the 2 years in which we won that race 2 times in a row. Maserati is the only Italian producer that ever got that prize twice in a row, up to today actually. And those years are also key for another reason. The reason why today we're in Modena and we're not in Bologna anymore. In Bologna you only find a plate stating where the original workshop was in Via dei Popoli, but everything was moved to Modena in those years, so late 30s, first 40s, for one main reason. A family named Orsi was originally born and raised in Modena, working on steel on the opposite side of the street, bought Maserati from the brothers, and decided to move everything closer to that in order to be in control of different steps, of the work. The brothers were still very involved in the process at the moment, so they sold the company that they're still involved up to the end of their life, basically. And a little fun fact, it is said that they were coming by bike each day from Bologna to Modena. Is anybody working on miles? So 15, 17, 20 miles, roughly 40 kilometers to come and 40 to go back. But just to still pursue the dream of building the cars and once again launching a brand that was.
Why want to get
Actually, yeah, that may be a good question. Probably they were not so wealthy in order to be able to actually afford cars for everybody. So of course the project at the very beginning had very high costs and very few revenues. As for everybody, when starting an activity, you put a lot and you get almost anything back. So that was probably the thing. And I think part of it is just myth. So working history and rebranding the history. So that's the moment in which we moved to Modena. Nowadays, Modena is still the main pole, the main site with basically most offices from the CEO down. Everybody is based in Modena, except for one big office, meaning the Centro Stile, the design center, so where we design the exterior lines of our cars. That's based in Torino, but we will go back on that in a moment. In Modena nowadays, we only work on one model, the MC20, plus the convertible version of that, the MC20 Sky. Other cars are coming from Torino, once again, and we are talking about the two sedans, GEN3 Porte, the bigger SUV, Levante, and then Gran Turismo and Gran Cabrio. Gran Turismo is the car that you've seen its position on the loop, Gran Cabrio is the convertible version. We will talk about that car once again in a moment. We also have another site, once again, that is near Rome, in Cassino. In Cassino, we work on the Grecale, the smaller SUV that you may have seen on the outside probably before. Grecale, it's a car that we launched 2 years ago, roughly. An SUV that is a little smaller. The idea is a car that is meant for a European market, so more easygoing and less usage of the space. Moving on, as you can see, the very first part is still much focused on to racing. Very beginning over here, we also have a little parenthesis on F1. F1 was born in the 50s, first 50s. We were racing in the F1 division as well, with, for example, Juan Manuel Fangio driving for Maserati before switching to other teams. Unfortunately, the racing division was the core business at the very beginning, was soon left on a side. Why? Once again, financial issues. Unfortunately, the Orsi family had very important financial issues back in the days, and they were not able to sustain the racing division. Once again, talking about race, even these days, even if you win a lot, racing, it's a black hole for money. So you almost get anything back, even though you're very successful, especially at the very beginning back in the day. So they decided to leave the racing division on the side. We still have a couple cars here and there, but once again, that was not core anymore. It was not main anymore. The core business in the mid-50s moves to street cars. In the very beginning, as you can see, we can spot a few different Gran Turismo. Guess they're maybe. So, the Gran Turismo is in the very beginning. Gran Turismo, it's the name of a car that we still produce to these days. We stopped the production of Gran Turismo in 2019, and then we relaunched the Gran Turismo as the first car for Maserati in a full electric version. Electrification is an important step in our journey at this time, of course, as for everybody else in the automotive industry. Our closest and most important goal is from here to 2030, so 5 years and a half from now, Maserati has set a goal to be 100% full electric only, no more combustion engines. We are waiting to see if the European Union will impose a ban on full combustion engines more in general from 2035, but that's still very much in a talkative way before any possible law being applied in the next future. So that's still a chance. But once again, we decided to anticipate that goal very much. And the Gran Turismo, once again, was a car specifically. More in general, was an idea of a car. A Gran Turismo, it's basically a car that could be thought as a racing car taken up from a circuit, from a racetrack, put on real streets all around the city, at the same time keeping the very important performances that it already had, but changing the outer look. So a car that becomes bigger, because of course you do not only have a driver and a co-driver, but you possibly have more than 2 people in the car. A car that also gets bigger, because of course you're supposed to take luggages, probably driving around the city, going for vacation, going for your normal day of life, so changing the shape of the car at the same time. So very powerful, very elegant look on the outside, and different dimensions, different shape on the outer look. The GEN3 is not very defined in thousand different variations, talking about different engines, different materials, or for example, different customizations. Customization is going short one of our goals. We talk about Maserati base, the Maserati one almost. It's very much customized. Talking about once again, talking about the style, in Modena, you are not producing any soft product. So all of us live in the planet are already customized, finalized, bought, and sometimes already eagerly waiting for the driver. I will anticipate a possible frequently asked question. Waiting time in order and delivery. At the moment, let's say we are around 1 year and a half or 2 years from the moment you finalize your order for the car. Also, you want to get you can one shift, 8 to 5, work inside. So, 60 minutes a day at the moment, people have a chance to get up to 8 minutes a day in the full version of the that it's not enough, will come next. But 8 hours a day is the very much maybe we will never be able to do. Also, for one little reason, that the MC20 has a price point that is almost 10 times the other vehicles that we have as well. So on one side, we can justify automotive that a car is 3 times more than the ones that are coming from Bolivia. So let's say that keeping everything done by hand is partly a marketing choice. So limiting the amount of ships there, only one, it's a marketing choice as well. The key part of the plan that is actually working on 3 ships there, so 24 hours there, is the patient. Finish up to this moment, I think it was launched in September 2020, so it's almost 4 years. Painting the bodies is still the most time-consuming process in the whole journey of the car. So we also, for the experience, we internalize a lot of different plastic or outsourcing. So we took on site the body assembly. We took on site the paint job for the body. We took on site the assembly line for the X numbers. So once again, other areas that we had us reduce the amount of when we were working on the got out of the site after 2019, we were working on 35 units a day, just to give you an idea of how much the chance the production of this Yes, there's a specific area of which we assemble the two is the engine cut air that we will see in a moment. They're all assembled inside. The design which is being done internally since a couple of years we took the design of on site. I mean, not really on site, 10 minutes from here, because we have 800 engineers and the space on the side of here is very small, so we will have no space to store our engineers on the side. But it's once again in-house, let's put it this way. And the assembly process of the engine as well is done inside. Of course, what I always need to underline is that the plant in Modena is an assembly. It's not a production plant. We do not produce any one product. We get all the components on the outside, roughly 2,400 components. We get zero to part of the components are done. ditch the curvature of the size of the sign, this is the ditch, the just like one body from it. Because it was once again a very simplistic.
This way.
Yes, just please be a couple steps back from the back.
Not a problem. Not a
From
problem.
that.
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
7 days a week off. So I work 10 to 20.